Hello everyone, TimeToGrind here, and today I wanted to go over my feedback after playing the first phase of beta for over 100 plus hours. Now before I go in depth in specific things about the game, I just want to say that Overwatch is a great game. Probably one of the best games I've played in quite a while, and it blew my expectations out of the water. And because of that, I really want to do what I can to make this game the best it can possibly be. And I feel like if Blizzard takes this game in the right direction, Overwatch could easily be one of the biggest games for the next couple of years in both the casual and competitive scenes. So before I get into things about the game as a whole, I want to talk about a few heroes in particular. Now I know that there are several heroes that need a few balance changes, but I'm only going to talk about a few right now. Now firstly, we have the most obvious heroes that need either heavy changes or complete reworkings. Torbjorn and Bastion. Now, I already made a video giving my feedback on Torbjorn and some ideas I had for him, but to summarize it, I feel like Blizzard doesn't know how they want his playstyle to be. It feels like they don't want you to camp with him, but the way he plays, it seems like they don't want you to be part of normal team fights either. So I think you can go in a multitude of directions with Torbjorn, you just need to promote him to either completely bunker down in areas, or to be part of the huge team fights in the game. And the thing is, with Bastion, he seems completely uncounterable to newer players, but completely counterable to more skilled players, especially those high-up teams like Not Enigma or Hubris. So it's definitely going to be hard to balance Bastion, worrying about both of those aspects, but I don't think it's impossible. Now, next up is Mercy. Mercy feels perfectly fine besides some UI changes, except for her ultimate. Her ultimate can be extremely annoying to go up against because you can organize these entire team-wiping combos, say with Zarya and Pharah, to then have it all be in vain because an enemy Mercy pressed Q. I really like the idea behind her ultimate, it just definitely needs to be toned down a little bit. One idea I had could not to be refill everyone's health to max when revived, that way it wouldn't be like having to fight the entire enemy team twice. Then we have D.Va. Now, a little while back in a competitive tournament, we saw a defending team pick a ton of D.Vas near the end of the match to stop the attacking team from winning, and it worked incredibly well. Now, a few people have been using this as an example of why there shouldn't be hero stacking, or that D.Va deserves a nerf because of this, or even that tournaments should have custom rules against hero stacking, and in my opinion, we should wait it out. This was one of the first examples of a team doing something like that in a competitive game, and I feel like the surprise factor won the game more than the fact that D.Va is OP. I mean, it very well may be that multiple D.Vas is the most stupid thing imaginable, but I feel like in the future, competitive teams will be able to deal with silly things like stacking all D.Vas or stacking all Winstons. Now, another thing with D.Va not relevant to balance is whenever her mech gets destroyed, the mech still has that weird red outline for a little bit, making it seem like she's still alive. And I can't even count how many times I've tried to snipe or hook that mech thinking that D.Va was still inside. And lastly, we have Reinhardt. Now, I don't think Reinhardt is super OP or anything, but it just seems like he's being picked more than any other tank by a long shot. And I know I personally would love to see as many heroes viable in the competitive scene as possible, so maybe adjusting a few things would make other tanks picked a little bit more often. And this actually segues to my next point. The idea that taking damage should increase your ultimate charge. Now this does a ton of things, including helping players that aren't doing so hot, helping tanks, and overall charging ultimates a lot faster. And I personally think it would benefit the game in the long run if players, instead of gaining charge by taking damage, got charge when dying or even not at all, except for tanks. Tanks should be the only one gaining charge by taking damage due to the fact that that is their job, tanking damage. If you're just playing Genji, why should you be rewarded for taking damage? Now, I personally would like to see no charge, even if you die, but if Blizzard wants to give some charge based on taking damage or dying, it definitely should be just dying, that way it isn't promoting people to just take tons of damage. Now, the next thing I was thinking about constantly while playing the game, like a ton of other people, was a lack of kill feed. Kill feeds can give very valuable information and even make the game more fun at times. If I can see who got killed and by who, without having to hold tab to pull up the scoreboard, it helps a ton, let alone how nice a kill feed can be when spectating tournaments or professional games. And the scoreboard could also use some reworking, however, I do understand the difficulties in doing so. Because you can switch heroes, it can be hard to show everything that a player has done without cluttering the scoreboard. So it's definitely something I'd like to see, but I can understand some of the difficulties with doing so. And lastly, if Overwatch wants to become the next huge esport, I definitely feel like having both a ranked matchmaking and a casual matchmaking will be needed. Because there are players who want to see themselves improve over time, and there are also players who just want to jump in a game and not have to worry about trying as hard as they possibly can. Blizzard needs to be able to satisfy both types of players' needs rather than throwing people who want to try super hard with those who just want to relax and take the game a little less seriously. And that's pretty much my feedback and impressions from this period of beta testing. And I, of course, didn't touch on everything that could see some changes or reworkings, just some of the ones that I thought were the most important. Thanks for watching. If you have any different opinions or ideas about how Overwatch could be improved, make sure to tell me in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like down below and subscribing to see more Overwatch content and news. Like always, guys, see you next time.